Hello everybody and welcome to Objects Unknown. I'm Terry McMahon and I'm so glad you're here. Listen, I'm going to get right to this hopefully in under 60 seconds, but I'd like to tell you a little information about the backstory of what you're about to see and why we think it's so incredibly important. Who are we? We're Objects Unknown. We're a citizen research project. We research unknown objects and the possibility of an extraterrestrial presence in our solar system without all the nonsense and conspiracy theories, essentially. We only investigate the space mission image video archives from all space missions: Ranger, Gemini, Apollo, Shuttle, ISS, Mars Rover, SOHO, and beyond, including Mars Curiosity. We've got something here I found 5 years ago that blew my mind. An actual object in a Curiosity photo that just screams, I am alive. Unfortunately, 2 days later after I found it, my computer crashed and I didn't back it up. I've been looking for it for years through the tens of thousands of Curiosity images. It's between Sol 1 and Sol 700 somewhere. And the other day I was researching something else and I logged into a little place called extrazoom.com, I believe, a little online Zoom tool, and turns out I already had an account there. And turns out I had uploaded one picture 5 years ago, and it is what you are about to see. We're going to talk about it. This thing screams, I am life. I think it looks like an alien desert cactus. But let's look at it. I'm going to show you the original picture I found, and I think it's pretty mind-blowing. I'm going to take a sip of coffee while you soak this in. Hopefully you're seeing it right now, and I am going to enlarge it. So what are we talking about? Obviously we're talking about this object right here. Let's start zooming in. So, obviously, clearly this is not just a rock. Hard to dismiss this object as just a rock. And here's what is notable about it that I think screams, I could be current life on Mars. First of all, look at this outer husk or shell. Notice this? It's undulating, almost looks like a shell or some kind of fiber, like a husk, let's say. If you notice, it could almost look like some hardy desert plant with other little symbiotic things living on top of it. If you notice, look at these two curly cues right in this area that are attached to it, and to the right, check out what looks almost like hanging moss type structures. Keep in mind, this is Mars, and if it's not a rock, what is it? But what's most exciting, I think, is what is inside of it. If you notice, it's hollowed out. You can see the shade right here, and there's something inside of it. Do you see it? Let's get a clearer picture of it. Now this one is super zoom and contrasted out with heightened exposure. But the one that's really worth looking at and much easier to see is look at this. You see what's up inside of it. For lack of better words to describe it, looks like some kind of gelatinous, kind of starfish-like creature, almost like coral here on Earth. Do you notice these little openings? Do you see them right here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think 8 around a central hole. And these tentacle-like structures. I'm sure you do. This looks like life. This looks like it was biologically developed, does it not? I've got some clear shots here. What is this? This is a pretty clear snippet we got, adjusting the contrast and exposure and highlights. Just look at this overall. There's a clear husk or shell, clearly that doesn't appear to be a rock. It is sitting there singly alone on the Martian barren desert floor. It's hollowed out, but something's inside of it. I want to point out something. See the structure right here in front of it? Looks like just probably a rock in the ground. Maybe it is. But if I were surmising or theorizing, it almost looks like this out here is maybe the dead version of what's inside here. One could surmise and say maybe that this is something that lives inside of it like a symbiotic organism. When it dies, it comes out here and this little creature moves along. There's two little structures here that are, I think, kind of important. They're the same. There's two white structures. I mean, you could almost say these are little feet that pulls this thing along the desert floor. Who knows? But I think this has all the visual cues that screams, I am a living thing. Do not believe this is merely a rock. So what's important about this, we're going to get this out to all the powers that be. Some folks at NASA, we want to look at it. JPLs and universities. And here's why. Because I think when anyone, professional person who's paid to look at these things or study these things, looks at it, some kind of exobiologist, I don't think they're going to look at this and say, oh, gee, that's just Pareidolia. That's just a rock somebody's seeing on Mars. Mars has interesting geology, as they always say. Nope. I think they're going to have to say, oh, wow, what is this? Can you zoom in on this? Let's study this. This is important. That I know. Some wildly evolved Martian hardy cactus. Why couldn't it be? It surely could be. And it visually does not look like just a rock. It looks like life. Share this. Get this out. This is truly important. And we'd like to focus on the things that are real and have real possibility. We're glad you're here as always. I'm Terry McMahon from Objects Unknown.